might be working. It's not working great though. Some smoke is still coming in. These things are cool though. I do recommend it to anybody to get one of these like little fire things for your structures. The thing is they're bad for insurance. So just like that's the thing is you have to install it yourself, so it won't be if you don't want the insurance to know. So it'll just be like a temporary setup, or you'll be paying, $1,200 a year to have this thing in your if don't put it in your house. Maybe put it in a garage or something. But yeah, they're pretty sweet. I recommend them, especially if you're Canadian, and this is Canadian talk. So yeah, but yeah, I was talking about imagine that world where the anti-vaxxers are right, but that story got pretty interrupted. So fuck it. So um, Afghanistan, hey. Whew. That's the ultimate clash of the left and the right there. It's like because they stopped the war, and then all of a sudden atrocities start happening to women and children. So it's like, uh-oh, that's like a left little conundrum there. There we go. We got a good fire now. The smoke's going in its appropriate place. That's weird. It just started working out of nowhere. This pizza box was probably the culprit. I think it was blocking the airflow. Yeah, my fire making just gained a level. No, you should always not block the airflow. But I thought usually it works good, but I guess the wind direction based on my stack is kind of fucked up right now. God, this is the most boring episode ever. Just not like this is why you have 23 subscribers. Yeah, so there's major things we'll get into. What's been going on with me was I repainted a door. I did a fancy like Jackson Pollock version of a door. With like it was blue background and I splashed some white on there. I'll throw a picture up right now. I'll edit it in. Edited. Edit it. Edit edit it. Edit it. I'll edit it in right now. Here it comes. Blue door with the Jackson Pollock. Uh uh and then I had a person who was living in the dorm the not the dormitory, the domicile, and I said, "Hey," because I had the door drying because it was raining. I had the door laying just inside the entrance, and I had a temporary door leaned up against the space. And they walked in, and I guess they had had a couple drinks. They pushed the door forward. It wrecked my whole. So that door that I just showed, with the kind of the fancy painting on it, it got all wrecked. I didn't take an after picture because I was so devastated. But now I just kind of ended up spreading it out and painting it white again after sanding it for 5 hours to try to get it flat. It still doesn't look good because the paint was partially dry. It had been sitting there for 12 hours until it got absolutely flattened. God, it is what it is. There were several mistakes made on all ends. I shouldn't have been so trusting. Yeah. I have properties that I manage, in case you're wondering. That's what we're talking about right now, is tenant situations. By the way, this is man, I always forget to say stuff early on. This is a comedy podcast. It's supposed to be anyway. And but it's definitely a slow burn. But it's fresh. It's improvisation. You know, so if you get tired of music, it's where it's like repetitive. But the thing is there's so many artists always coming out with new shit. So I get why people would be like, "Oh, music is better than you fool." Um, because music is it's repetitive, right? Which is what I don't like about music, which is why I've always liked podcasts. But um, yeah, if you get tired of that repetitive music, this is what you want right here. But you know, radio gets it right. Like I know I've griped on radio before, but they're like they kind of alternate back and forth, which is pretty good. And they've actually a lot of radio that I've been listening to. They've been farming some pretty good segments from all kinds of local radio shows, so it's pretty good. They're adapting, they're evolving, which is awesome. It's like when Rogan sold out for his big contract or whatever. He kind of it made everybody realize the money that was at like people knew before, but he really flooded the market with people once he sold out. Yeah, what you're listening to is a podcast. This is I'm in Saskatchewan. This is meant to be basically a combination of Joe Rogan Experience and this past weekend with Theo Vaughn. Like it's improv. I talk long form about what's going on. Um, I guess really it's this is not marketed. I was a delivery person for a while where I spent my entire days in a car. So it was also what probably gives me a false reality of the value of this long form. Um, so I get like it's marketed towards like what like truckers things like that. I don't know how many people have the ability to spend this much time with earphones in. You know, I guess with wireless earphones now, a lot more people are able to, which is good. So yeah, if I'm living in your ear, hello. Uh, you might be if you're watching the video, that'd be the real deal fan, or you're like some sort of a researcher doing something, looking back, and all my shit is already famous on TikTok. That's like probably the few people that'll watch this. Each episode, the video episodes literally get 100 views each. This is I don't you don't know you don't care about this, and also it changes over time. But currently, in like let's say a month, they get like 100 views, and then on video, which is and the videos I don't think the views are like long. They're not long proper views. They're just clicking around, and then and then the audio gets a few hundred more. So yeah, like, and I've been doing this for a year now. Uh, it's the thing about it though is that there's no gimmicks. It may take 15 minutes to get going, that kind of stuff, but like there's no gimmicks. When and that's the thing is those 23 people they right now August 2021 that number hopefully may change. Go follow me on YouTube, subscribe or whatever. But those people, though they probably are 50% all my family members, and then there's like 10 people that actually subscribe to the YouTube. But there's also other ways people get it. But at least those people are watching to actually listen. You know, like to get what this is, which is raw content. And ultimately, this is for it's like a seed because I'm just kind of learning more about copyright law and stuff, and because I see a lot of pages that post just like clips from movies and Seinfeld and shit, and I don't know the process that they have to do to clip that, but they'll just like put a caption on it, and I didn't think that that was allowed to put on your YouTube page, but I guess maybe it is, and ultimately I'm just hoping that this is useful to that this type of communication is useful to somebody, and it gets clipped up and used, or unless it'll be by me or somebody that I hire or whatever. um, I've actually, imagine the amount of emails that the really big podcasts get. But like I've had a few emails from like there's various apps, right, that have algorithms that farm this kind of stuff for good talks on certain topics. Like it'll have an algorithm that'll listen for a keyword that I say, and then it'll record that, and then it'll review it and then they'll decide whether they want to add it to their education app or whatever. Because this is ultimately education, as silly as it sounds. As I'm sitting here promoting drinking beer and no, you can't see the bong. Oh, maybe you can. Yeah, you can see the top of it. Yeah, it's funny. Ever since I don't know, maybe a few months ago, there was like different. You know how it is with your phone that gets you different advertisements based on what's happening around you because it fucking listens to you, I think, or whatever. I was getting various ads about like Alcoholics Anonymous and stuff like that, like different shows that where they talk to about drug abuse and that kind of stuff. It's good, you know. I mean, that's good that the that it works. If I did need that, hats off to you. You know, it would be there for me. But yeah, okay, so yeah, so that world where anti-vax happens, and everybody dies who has the fucking shot, like they put some sort of a nano thing in there that'll kill you. That's not gonna happen. I think we can all accept that. So let's just stop pretending that we're worried about the anti-vaxxers. They're not spreading shit. The disease doesn't really kill that many people anyway. So let's just all fucking chill out. Let's go back to normal. That's my stance on it. I don't believe that we should be doing any. Vaccines are good, sure. Let me actually talk specifically about that for 1 second before I go on to the other shit. All right, sorry, having a sip here. My garage is dry. There's a lot of sawdust in here, and I'm in front of a fire. Excuse me. So the deal is, I think, with the whole anti-vax thing, if you want a dumbass's opinion, is like, so basically the disease, it kills 1% of old people. So I'd be surprised, you don't see too many old people who are anti-vaxxers. That's what the vaccine is for them. But if you're not an old person, and if you're not like obese, and just because this one happens to be a respiratory disease, okay. Oh, and I'm gonna go into the paintballer from the USA paintball team. I want to talk about that too. So I got a lot to say about this topic right now, actually, because COVID's getting interesting again. Because we're just coming into winter, so shit might hit the fan again if we get stupid. So the deal is, if a person wants to understand the logic of, let's say, the most intelligent anti-vaxxer that you'll see, if you want to call him an anti-vaxxer, or just a person who's like a pro-choice, whatever type of shit, where they're like, oh, I don't want to get the vaccine, or whatever. This is the only logic that exists for that, to me. So, like I'd said, it'll kill 1% of old people. If you're not old, it'll only kill you like 0.1% of the time, more or less. So basically, never. You're more likely to die in a damn car accident. That's 1% chance, like literally, that you die in a car accident. Look it up. There's a more than 1% chance you die of suicide. There's a more likely that you'll die of suicide than COVID. Purely statistically. So what these people aren't stupid. They don't want to hurt people or spread any disease. The deal is, in terms of numbers, this is what I think the best argument might be, is that if you're only going to die 0.1% of the time, and these people will likely not trust corporations like big pharmacy and that type of stuff. So they'll think, oh, there's probably a better than 1% chance big pharma might be like, putting something out there that might not be so good. Or it might, they think that these person might think that there's a higher than 1% chance that they might get injured by this vaccine. But who knows what the stats are from the actual institutions who check it or whatever. And the conspiracy theories about it not being checked because it's emergency or whatever. But they put that risk from the corporate, they put more safety in, hey, let's just not, rather than, it's such a low, when you're thinking about numbers that are like so small like that, 1% and below, the decisions people make are basically negligible. Like I think we should just let people make their own decisions. because there's no real comparator there. Because there is a risk. Because you have to acknowledge that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you have to acknowledge that conspiracies do exist. That's like the phrase that Rogan always uses, I know. Like, they have happened. I'm not going to list them. There's government conspiracies. There's all kinds of conspiracies that have been exposed financially within corporations and stuff. So we know that they do conspire. And they do. And come on, Bill Gates just cheated on his wife. Anything can happen, people. So I know that's a conspiracy theorist type phrase, but just really though, that's the comparison. So if we get 50% of people vaccinated, that's good. And I bet you we'll get 100% of old people vaccinated. So that's all we really need. Because God, but so many people don't even understand what a vaccine is. They just think, oh, vaccine equals, oh, you're safe. All it really is they're just putting the virus into you on purpose in a mild way so that your body gets used to it and knows how to fight it. It's just one strain. Do you know how many millions of strains of this stuff there is? Like, you can't, there's so many. So that's why people are taking this. It's just a 50-50 split on which road you take. I don't know why it's such a highly politicized thing. But anyway, so that's how it's politicized because because of it. They're actually making us wear masks and all that kind of stuff now. So that's why it's being forced to be politicized. But yeah, so that's the COVID thing and the rationale, I think, behind the person who's pro-choice right now on the vaccine. Because I know a few people that they don't want to take it. So, and not surprisingly, because I live in a very conservative part of a not densely populated area. So that's the way it'll be. People will be conservative. Just like that's why I'm able to explain the conservative perspective on this right now. So let me wet my whistle here. Yeah, and then in relation to the COVID, before I talk about Afghanistan, I wanted to talk about just quickly this thing I came across my feeds. The USA paintball team. Okay, like paintball people. Okay, so let me just give you before I get into my long-winded shit. A woman from the USA paintball team got in trouble there was a kid who I guess was in the hospital for COVID and he may have died. But this kid was like, he was, I don't know, he was like in his adolescence or early teens. And he was heavier than me. He was like 235 pounds, 250 pounds. And the kid I think had problems. He was in danger. And then this Olympic person made a tweet making a joke about, because there was a news article where, I don't know, maybe he was getting money or something. Sorry, I don't know the specifics, but this is out there. Just Google Team USA paintball or girl in trouble. And she made a tweet, like it was like a video, I think, where she was like verbally making a joke about how he needed to find and this is the thing, because I've said worse things than this. This is why I just hope I don't have as much exposure as an Olympian. I don't know, right? I guess I'll need a legal team on retainer, but or just not care about my reputation, but because like I feel like I've said worse things, but because that's why I'm bringing this up. I'm not defending her, but because still make fun of kids and stuff. But like, she was like, oh, the kid needs to find a treadmill or something like that. And yeah, she got kicked off the paintball team. So another part of my apologist perspective for this paintball girl, I wish I should have her name right now. Maybe I'll try to remember to put it in the description below. Yeah, because we got no producer today. We got no nothing. It'll be me editing, doing all this, just like fucking Take Your Shoes Off podcast with that fucking basketball guy. Yeah, she got kicked off the paintball team and then did a bunch of apologies, deleted her whole account. It might have been Instagram, not Twitter. And the other perspective to defend her is that, like, this person does paintball. This is nothing against like people who do paintball. It's a cool thing. But ultimately, and I admire the type of person that does it. But I've known people who've done it. I've been paintballing many times. It's like war. So these are people, especially if you're on a national team for paintball, these are the people that if it was 200 years ago, 500 years ago, these would be the people at the front lines of everything. That's the way that these people's mentality are. They think that they're the best shooters. They're like, that's what, maybe they got bred into it by their family, who knows. But they shoot. And you're going to be mad about a person, and she's a professional athlete, so you know how hardcore these people are. And combine the shooting aspect, so she's obviously right-leaning person. Why are we even surprised? There's probably many other people that have this type of perspective just like her. So, yeah, like, you can't just... All kinds, you know? She wasn't trying to hurt anyone. She was trying to be funny. And, God, you got to make that distinction, you know? I really do think that... I just think that if you're joking, you gotta... Like, you can't get mad at a person who's fucking joking. Just because... It's like if we put every doctor in jail who was trying to save somebody and they died. Because when you're trying to make a joke, you're trying to make people laugh. You're trying to create happiness for other people. That's ultimately the best motivation that a person could have, you think. So how can you get mad at that person? By the way, I've been rolling here for a good 20 minutes. I'm pretty happy. Even though I started slow for the first 10, this might end up being the actual episode 34. I didn't even do a proper welcome, did I? I think I... Yeah, but this is episode 34. No sponsors. Like, Mike Drop is that DJ that I really like. Mike Drop. He's like, I think he quit his job. He's doing DJing full time now. So, and I had no part in that, I assume. But he's doing it. That's awesome. Good for him. That's a good company. If you need a wedding or something, check them out. Mike Drop Productions. Thanks to Bush. We're drinking Bush today. Great little beer. American beer. Ultimately, they say 4.7 on the can, but this just tastes like Coors Light. This is 4%. Like, they say 4% or 4.7, but it's not. So, yeah. I got my t-shirt, my Canadian Talk t-shirt on today, so maybe if this is 4 years old and it has maybe a 1,500 views, and you're like, oh, look at this podcast, and you like it, go get a shirt from the website. They'll still be up there. I'm sure. They'll always be for sale. T-shirts and maybe other stuff. I sell furniture as well, but find me on Facebook for that. Go to my Facebook. You know my name. Just go look it up. I sell woodwork stuff. Oh, we're lulling. The fire's just rocking and rolling. I don't understand why these logs are burning for so long. I think it's because it's so hot in here and dry. No, that should make them burn faster. I haven't had to use any of my wood that I got ready down here. For once, I got ready and prepared with wood down in front of me. That's why I was so devastated when the fire wasn't working out. Now it just seems to be getting out of here just fine. That's weird. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Afghanistan. I wanted to talk about substances a little bit too, especially because of this and because I wanted to. I think I mentioned that on my last real episode, which it was at least a month ago now, because I was doing some traveling around with some drone footage, and I did that stupid yoga thing, yoga podcast. Go check it out. If you like doing an exercise video, just go do it. It's on the page. It's like 10 minutes, and it'll definitely make you feel better. It's a basic short yoga thing that has all the basics. That'll get you ready for the day. So the ultimate left conundrum is happening right now in Afghanistan. So I'm no expert on anything. I'll just put that out there, but I get the same information as you guys. We all have the internet, but what I can do is talk about my analysis of the internet, of the internet, of like what the information that I've received is, just because we're all just as ignorant, which is what we can do. Like some of us have to do that. We can't all just pretend we can't just all not be experts. Some of us have to try to be experts. That's how experts are made. So Sorry, I had a couple of like trains of thought there. I was just trying to decide which one to go on, and then a few of them disappeared. It's like a couple of when you think you have a couple tunnels, and then a bunch of them are just walls. Um, yeah, because like some of the videos, if you haven't seen any of the videos of all the people that are on the planes, and then a couple people fell off of the planes that were flying away. I've also seen some accounts that people are saying that it's fraud, like that it was Photoshop, that nobody actually fell off. I don't know though. Did they collect the bodies? I guess that would be how you'd verify that, right? So, oh yeah, what I was gonna make a mention about more about knowledge growth. Like, some people are so always ad hominem, which means like to attack somebody's to attack somebody's personality rather than just to be a part of the discourse. Which is, I don't think that's good. I think discourse in it of itself is purely good. Uh, so my point is that if you're doing this right now, if you're listening to this and thinking through these things, you're doing everything that you can to, not that I'm not the best source, but I am a source, and I have all my various sources, and as long as you can think it through yourself, you're doing the right things. It's like that analogy, if you've ever heard that. It's like if you're stupid, because there's like logic, right? Logic is how you think through stuff. If you don't have good logic, then just don't even bother reading books. Like why would a stupid person read a book or whatever? Because they're just going to make the wrong interpretations anyway. That's the analogy. Um, that's fair, but that's why this is better. If you're able to, that's attention span is tough, but if you're able to just sit and think through it, like what we're doing right now, then you're getting somewhere. So yeah. Anyway, so I was on. That's my explanation for why I'm allowed to talk about this stuff, as not an expert in any type of foreign policy. But it's just such a funny conundrum of the left, because like they don't want war, and ultimately Biden did like good on that. He took out. I mean, Trump, I guess, was keeping the peace over there with only 2,500 guys. I don't know why we wouldn't just keep that. You'd think that would be in the budget. But I guess he decided to take all of it out, which they thought they were trained for, and it never ended up working. That reminded me of a clip. Go check it out, where there's this American drill sergeant, and he's yelling at a bunch of Afghans. If you Google like American drill sergeant getting mad at Afghan troops, it'll come up. It's a video of this guy getting mad at a bunch of guys because they're not training properly, and because he found out they were in militia groups and not really pure to the cause. They, I guess, so technically they might have been Taliban or whatever. I don't know. Don't, who knows what they're up to? Don't get mad at me. I'm sure if you want to take over Taliban to Canada, just come on. I'm not going to do anything. I'm definitely neutral. Uh, so, but why not keep those 25 in there? 2,500 in there. So they took them out, and now everything kind of collapsed. But they're saying that the Taliban is. Oh no, that's not. Sorry, I was thinking about something. Then I remembered. No, they were saying the Taliban was different because they had all the American weapons and stuff. Not, but they do seem to be acting like more modern. It'd be great, because I was thinking. So here's something I've been thinking: is that technically the Taliban is like, how there's right wing people here in our governments in North America. Like, there's many people who consider it heinous that certain people have abortions, right? People on the right think that that's murder, or whatever. There's all these ideologies here that are super important. The Taliban is technically, they have a different religious doctrine over there towards females, towards how you deal with like infidels or people who don't believe in your religion. They have a different religious doctrine in the Quran or whatever. So Taliban is technically just the conservatives, the right-wing government of Afghanistan. So why don't we just let them do their fucking thing? If the women don't like it, the women will leave, the men will adjust. Isn't that the deal? As long as we have an airport for them to get out, the women will leave. If the women leave, the men will make adjustments. So Yeah, see, so there we go. I think that was just a clip-worthy moment right there. Like minute, minute. Right now, this is the raw audio, so the minutes on the actual finalized edit won't be the same as what I say right now. But that was potentially clip-worthy. That's funny. Yeah, that's what they got to do in Afghanistan. Just leave them alone. I don't think that they should send any more troops in, but a lot of people are like a lot of people that are like, the gun-loving Christian people here in North America really think that we have a responsibility to help them and stuff, which is weird because their religion is different. For some reason our religion over here is like if they're lost we're supposed to help them. Their religion is, do you know that I'm pretty sure that if their religion is that if you don't follow it, you're an infidel and then I try to kill you. I think that's the deal. But it might just be propaganda that I got over here in the West. Sorry. Oh man. It is so weird to talk to myself for an hour. What else? Is there anything else I want to promote? I don't know. The website is stephanjackson.ca. Check it out. There's just audio up there. Yeah. Made a door, painted a door, got destroyed. Afghanistan. The paintball team. All the Olympics were pretty awesome. I mostly watched racket sports. I didn't watch anything else. Just like ping pong and badminton mostly. I hope everyone out there is doing good. So I guess I'll just kind of go deep on. I'll just send a little bit of love out there to anybody who's listening, especially if you're here at exact like 40 minutes in like this. You are a wonderful person. Thanks for listening to the podcast, Canadian Talk. I guess why did I name it that? I feel like because a lot of people that do other podcasts, like they try to pick these weird neutral names like Tiger Belly, Bad Friends, Two Bears, One Cave. These names that are international. I understand that I chose to nationalize my title of my podcast. I called it Canadian Talk. I kind of did that on purpose because I just feel like I wanted to get ahead of the micronization of the media industry, and I know that the podcasts are going to start having more hotspot listening. Like people are going to look for podcasts in their local area. I know that that's coming. It doesn't have to be necessarily international. Like people won't always drift to the most popular podcast. I think that it's going to trickle down a lot in this industry. So that was why I chose to just like put my stake down in one country, kind of. And the Canadian perspective is it's a good perspective, I think, internationally. So that's why I believe in the Canadian brand, is what I'm getting at. And I'm just being modest about what I am as a Canadian and the perspective that I have, I think, especially if I'm going to do a lot of these individual ones. I just got to be honest, because all it's going to be is just a Canadian perspective. I'm a mildly considered a scientist. I'm an engineer. Most scientists would scoff at me for even calling myself a scientist. But engineers are, I think. And, I've had people scoff at that. And, what else was I saying? I guess I was just gloating about myself. Yeah. I hit a wall. I hit a talking wall. My throat's dry too, so let me lubricate here. Yeah. You know what else I've been thinking about? Let's go deep even more after I send the love. I've been thinking a lot about why I even do this. I believe in media, right? I'm not doing this just because I like Anchorman, okay? But I do like Anchorman. I believe in media. I like fires. I like talking. There's not a lot of people to talk to up here. But like, the reason that I do this ultimately, I would have to say, is because I'm waging war, in a way, against loneliness. Like, and I'm using the internet as a tool for that. So, yeah, I mean, we use the tools that are at our disposal, and I think it's a pretty good idea. So if you're listening to this, you're doing what I have done, which is listen to a lot of podcasts, and it helped me through my times in life. You know, when I'm around, you know, doing workouts and stuff, which is what what you should be doing, just sitting in front of the TV or whatever, doing your workouts. Maybe because for me, my whole life growing up, I had a TV with a fireplace under it. That's like why I did. That's why I like this. And so if that's you, you're in front of a fireplace doing your stretches and your workouts, and you're listening to this or watching this. This is exactly what it's for. It. I've had the luxury of listening to other people do this, and this is why I'm like paying it forward in a way, so we can continue to wage war against loneliness. Because I think that, like I talked about that 1 in 88 suicide stat, this is the groundwork to fighting that. You know, because we can all find camaraderie through the internet. Like, send me an email. You guys know the email, Canadian Talk with Stephan. No podcast in there. Canadian Talk with Stephan at gmail.com. Send me an email, and I'm not going to be talking that much on there, but just, I'll reply once to anything, and I've gotten plenty. I prefer more, because I've got lots of free time. That's how I'm able to research all this bullshit and then try to have a funny perspective on it and just kind of put it across in a neutral way to you out there listening. So you guys can have a perspective on, fucking Afghanistan or whatever. Because ultimately, we don't want to see that happening to women, but we can't be sending the army in there. We took them out. We have to be, as information spreads, they have the internet too. So their people have to be expected to modernize and fix their own governments. Like, if the Taliban is their right wing and then these other people are their left wing, I'm not sure what you want to call them. Just call them, Middle Eastern liberals. That's that. They both have the internet, so start to come together, just like we have to do in North America, and use democracy. I don't know that they do the whole democracy thing though. So, but maybe they will, because that's also what they should fucking figure out. But to them, I guess whoever has the guns might be in charge. I don't really know. It's too bad. It's too bad. This is why I have so much sympathy for high-ranking decision makers and lawmakers and stuff, because they tackle this stuff. I don't want to have to think about what the decision ultimately is on this shit. Fucking t-shirt is too small on me. It's because I don't know how to wash clothes, I feel like. Oh, that should light up pretty good. It's got this fire all stoked up here. We're an hour in. I should probably say goodbye. I don't even know if this is a good episode. I feel like it was for a little bit there. I talked about some current events. What else? Oh, I'll shout out to Battleford Tours. That's a history show. They do lives. I think they're primarily on Facebook, but they have Battlefield Tours. It's North Battleford based internet show, and they do a lot of stuff for the veterans. And the girl who runs the show, she gives a lot of attention to those guys that were in the army and stuff, which is very good. Yeah. I imagine you can Google Samantha Cowan. Is that her name? Yeah. Yeah. And she's the one who does Battlefield Tours. And you'll find something on there through that channel. If you want to find her shows on that. There's lives that she does, but then they get published onto her page after that. So go check it out. And yeah, this is a podcast where we drink beer, we try to be funny. And so, yeah, like I said, we covered all kinds of topics today, COVID and the specifics of some statistical sides of it, and where we're going to be at with it moving forward here. Because I hope that it doesn't get crazy this fall. It's fall right now, and I'm hoping that COVID doesn't ramp up. Another thing I notice about these podcasts is they don't age well, especially when I talk about topical stuff like that, which is date dependent. I know that if you're listening to this, you might just shut it off right now because you'll be annoyed to listen to the topical stuff. But maybe I just saved it by mentioning that it's annoying. There you go. So you're still with me. What's up? What's up? Yeah. Ultimately, doing a podcast like this, like it's the best way to make raw content for any type of social media. Like I can always chop this up and put it on TikTok, which is what I will be doing. And I fucking hope that people like it because I'm just trying to. I want people to like. I'm I'm not saying that I'm gonna mold my personality to whatever people out there want, but I have my personality, which is what it is, and I'll try to do my best to have opinions that work for people. Like that's how politicians work, right? In media. I'm not a politician because I don't have the same types of liabilities that they do. Even though I still do have going public like this, I still do have lots of liabilities. That's the thing. So you fucking better respect me for taking that on because that's scary. But yeah, politicians have more stringent liabilities. But in a way, I'm the same kind of a thing. Like I'm an opinion holder, and that controls certain things. But everybody is an opinion holder. But it's all about the platform that you build. So yeah, for me, like I have 23 people. So oh yeah, yeah. So I think this is embarrassing enough for this week. Oh, and I'm gonna call it a day. So thanks for listening to this week's episode of Canadian Talk. The other thing too is I have other episodes that I was gonna just splash out there. Like I have an episode with a guy who's on meth. I have two-part episodes, so it's 2.5 hours of interviews with this guy who's a heavy meth user. I'm not saying I'm waiting for him to die, but if it happens, I will most definitely use the footage. I'm just like, that's what it is. So there's that. And I have other footage. Like I have this beautiful nature footage. I have this guy who's a hiker who I'm teaming up with, Pider Man, the Wilder Man, and it's a silly name, but he does hikes and stuff and takes good videos. But I want to do voiceovers on that too. So it'll be like that John Boy. He does voiceovers on sports videos. I'm gonna be doing comedic voiceovers on nature videos from this guy. So that's gonna be coming up too. It might be later in the week. This episode will already be late here. This is Wednesday. I'm doing it every Wednesday. That's when the episodes come out. Um, I'll maybe do it. I'll put out some clips of this. I'll put out this full episode, and then I'll put clips to the links to the clips that are the good parts of this episode that are on TikTok. And then I'll also this week put out some voiceovers on those nature videos. So that's what's to come. And then maybe this guy will die, and then maybe I'll put out that episode. Who knows, though? Who wants to hear from a meth head, really? I mean, I don't know. They have certain things to say, because that's the thing, too, is you have to... Their upbringing it's really tough. They got a tough upbringing. So you got to factor that in. You got to be nice and sympathetic towards that, and how much that affects the brain, because life is so fragile, and they're exposed to a lot of things that you can't fathom how much that affects your mindset growing up. Because I remember growing up and how fragile my mindset was. I was so lucky to grow up how I grew up, and I know that 80% of the people out there who will listen to this are just as lucky as I am. So just thank your lucky stars. And yeah, so we're an hour in, so I'm gonna say goodbye for now. I'm going to have more good things to talk about next episode. I also have good guests coming on, but I don't want to pressure anybody, and they're not like... So I'm just kind of just doing this, because I'm fucking skipping episodes anyway. I'm doing like basically one per month. So I got to make sure I stick to the one per week. So yeah, you might see some guests coming up, and then those other things I mentioned. All right, so thanks for listening out there. Oh, I got to have a good exit phrase. if you have a university degree, if you don't, if you're here right now, you you deserve a degree. That's my outro for today. Uh, if you're listening to this and you have this kind of ability, then yeah. So, all right, this is full on. This is off the rails. I'm done for today. That's Canadian Talk, episode 34. Out.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to canadiantalkwithstephan@gmail.com. Thanks.
Canadian Talk.
We also have a website, stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.
Party of one. All right. So we're back for episode 34 of Canadian Talk. So there's been quite a bit going on in the world. I wanted to start by talking about a world where the anti-vaxxers are actually right. Does that exist? Is that possible? Like, imagine a world where, you know, like, what if everybody died who took the vaccine? Like, let's say, like, this isn't going to happen. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Or maybe I am. But let's say, like, imagine a world where everybody who took the vaccine died. Like, let's say right now, like, for real, like, Bill Gates, he had an affair with his wife. We never thought, he's supposed to be the fucking, the guy that we all look to for perfection. And, you know, he's now had an affair. Oh my god, my fire pit's fucking up. What is it going on with the wind today? I'm getting smoked into oblivion here. Just a second here. This is why people don't have fires on podcasts. Alright, short-term solution. Guess what we gotta do is we gotta close it. And then we'll lose our fire and our whole shtick for the show. But we're here. We're going. Yeah, imagine a world where everyone who took the vaccine just died. Because, like, let's say Big Pharma was working with Bill Gates to try to, like, you know, kill us all. Bring down the population. If that was real, is that plausible? No. Like, God, this fire is bumming me out. Maybe I should restart. Goddamn fucking wind. What happens if I open this? Smoke is just not fucking going out the stack. It's not clogged, so it must just be the fucking wind direction or something. God damn it, it's all smoky in here now. I can barely fucking do this. Fuck. Podcasting isn't easy, especially if you do it by yourself. The pod is not so easily equipped. Fucking moth in the window just ripping around, trying to save his life, wondering why he can't go through a window. It's a fucking window, you idiot moth. God. If I was a moth, I'd be fucking smart. You might be the smartest moth there ever was. God, this stupid fucking fire. Maybe I should just take this out. I guess there was a can in there. Ouch. It's hot, of course. Ah, this is alright. It's a little smoky. Getting my goat for my pyro. Ugh. Yeah, so I'm going to be, by the way, I'm going to be clipping this up a lot more, and this will be the raw episodes that'll always be there, but if you want clips, go to the TikTok. There's going to be a TikTok account now. That's what you got to do if you want to get lots of people watching your shit. You know, you got to go to the newest social media, which right now happens to be TikTok. It's the most popular, as well as Instagram Reels. I'm going to start making Instagram Reels, which is just basically an Instagram post, which is a video, I think. And TikToks. I'm hoping that, because like throughout the course of the 30 minutes to an hour that I'm usually talking, there's usually 1 or 2 5-minute periods where it's like really good. And not everybody likes to watch that build up. So that's what TikTok's for, you know? Yeah, we got a fire. Smoke just starts.